These things are going for an absurd price online now. For something that's basically a novelty item, some of the prices on eBay are just crazy. I saw this at a friend's house. I never thought I'd actually see one in person, so as soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to try and play through that and see if I can get something from it. And that was basically what I wanted to do with the intro jam, was to just try and get something from it. I recorded it a number of times. It's really difficult to play through without the tracking sort of crapping out on you. I started off playing how I would normally play, a lot more complicated, a lot more the fretting behind the slide thing, interesting intervals, whatever, and quickly realized that that wasn't going to happen. Basically, because it's a monophonic sound, as you leave one string, you've got to make sure the note is completely choked off before you start the next note. So when you're playing slide, obviously there's a lot of notes where you're playing adjacent strings, which means that the notes are going to blend together. If you do that, all hell breaks loose, and it sounds like most of the demos you see online. You have to be incredibly articulate. You have to play very, very slowly. The tracking, I would say, is about maybe half a second behind when you actually play. You can hear in the room, I can hear the string noise of when I make contact, and then half a second later the note comes out through the speakers behind me, which is a bit disconcerting, and it's also very difficult then to not tread on your own toes for the next note. It becomes a challenge of, can you produce some kind of music by playing something that's no more complicated than a nursery rhyme and really, really slowly. Here's a little bit of playing in isolation, just so that we can talk about the tone. So if you are interested, I know this is a daft pedal, but I paired it with a clon. It's the J-Rocket Archer, which is a fantastic sounding pedal. It put a bit of mid-range back in the Miku, an EP booster that thickened the sound a little bit, and then I ran it into Cubase and used a stereo panner, a stereo ping-pong delay, and a flanger as well, because Jan Hammer did that with his synth sounds. Basically, if you're not playing anything very complicated, I wanted it to have a little bit more movement in the sound, and it also gave it some more width. And really heavy compression. This thing is wildly uncompressed. The high notes were just ripping through the mix unbelievably. I actually had to automate the track as well as compress it. So the high notes that you heard in that little intro thing there, I had to take down by 14 dB. That is ridiculous. But that was what I had to do in order to get it to sound just in balance with itself. And the low notes still aren't that loud, but the high ones are still very loud. If we can take anything away from it, is that, you know, you've got to work within the limitations of the gear to try and get something from it, and maybe within the limitations of your own playing, or some kind of crap like that. And some sensei teachings with the Korg Miku there. Yeah, cool to try it. I don't think I'll be running out and buying one. It's a shame the tracking is not better. If the tracking was better, I feel like this would actually be a useful pedal rather than a novelty item. You know, you might be able to get some sort of like Jan Hammery sounds, or maybe a Pat Metheny thing. You know, certainly the Lu, La sounds and the R are a little bit more sort of like a synthy thing, as opposed to, well, obviously whatever her voice is doing. So like I said, I don't really know what this video was for, other than me just having a crack with the Korg Miku and seeing whether I could get something from it. I hope you dug it. See you next time. Later.